Kastubadas here with the big announcement for Wisdom of the Sages listeners. This August will be Ashram Month at the Super Soul Farm. Simple ashram living, rising early, morning kirtan, yoga and pranayama, healthy vegan and vegetarian meals, farm seva and being immersed in nature, and then gathering in the evenings for kirtan and readings. Plus, each week we'll have a lead presenter teaching a different facet of the philosophy and lifestyle of Bhakti Yoga. Week number 1 will be the exceptional Bhakti Lata teaching a course called The Beauty of Bhakti, bringing the culture of love and devotion into our lives. Week number 2 is my brother from another mother, Raghunath, teaching Falling in Love with Divinity, the Bhakti Yogi's method for opening the heart. And week number 3 is myself with a course called Following the Path, examining the history and teachings of Bhakti Yoga. You can come for 1, 2, or all 3 weeks, and the pricing is by donation. For more dates and information, go to wisdomofthesages.com/events. Peace.
Live from beautiful Tuscany at Villa Vrindavan. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York City, Kaustuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. We have a big group of live. Say Haribo, live. Woo-wee. I think it's the bigger group is half the group's gone because they went for an e-bike today. And if you don't know it, there is a tropical heat wave hitting Europe. And it is hot, and I'm glad we're going to Cinque Terre tomorrow. 5 beautiful villages on the beautiful sea. I'm looking forward to it. Today we're doing bike riding, e-bikes. I was like, e-bikes, that's so lame. Just pedal your damn bike. And now I'm like, yes, e-bike. I get it. Makes sense now. Tuscany Hills. Anyway, we're having a great time. Yesterday was it was one of the, you know what I love about this? It's like the Nepal trips, too. It's like you get these sattvic, beautiful, refined pleasures of material existence mixed with tons of bhakti. The whole thing's just peppered or anchored with bhakti along the way. A strong morning program. We do Wisdom of the Sages. We do kirtan wherever we go. I mean, we walked into Siena walked out of Siena, especially just singing. And we were singing, and we went to these incredibly turquoise, beautiful springs yesterday. It really cut the heat down to nothing. It almost felt cold a little bit. Almost felt a little cold. It just shows how on the mental platform we are. It's too cold. It's too hot. It's too cold and God. It's too hot and cold. We just want to complain about something. Especially Americans. We're the worst. We're looking for something to complain about. But anyway, it was just like a magical day yesterday. And then we met the famous hat salesman, the devotee hat salesman of Siena. And this guy, what's the name of his business? Has anybody figured?
I forget.
I can't remember.
Oh, Jagannath Hats.
Jagannath Hats? Jagannath Prem.
Is the name
and he
of the
makes these beautiful hats. We all bought hats. You know why? Because that's what you do when you come to Siena. But we find out that Siena, Shamana Undini, the glamorous one on Zoom, is saying that there's something mystical about Siena. There's mystic. They say there's, what did you say? How did you put it again? Miracles are still happening in Siena on a regular, yep. Neil from Huntington Beach, who also has deep spiritual, mystical insights that he attained from his mystic powers in Huntington Beach, known for its mystics and surfing. He's also saying, yes, miraculous place. Yeah. I can't go into details, but there's some magic happening there. Are we still here? Oh, there we go. Anyway, great day yesterday. Looking forward to today, looking forward to tomorrow, and looking forward to being present right now. Stupid, what was your experience yesterday? Did you feel it?
Did I feel what exactly? Mystical experiences?
Ecstatic joy, spiritual high, misery.
I did feel some spiritual high. I felt I felt a lot of things. It was wonderful to go. Those springs, they're undescribably beautiful that we went to.
Yeah, it was like waterfalls.
There's blue water and different pools that you could go in, and there's a big, massive waterfall and a lagoon around it.
Caribbean blue.
And when we got there, it seemed like there were too many of us to fit. But then that was mystic. We just kind of all fit in. And
it's called gentrification. We just showed up with 70-plus people, and everybody's like, all right, let's get out of here. It's no fun anymore.
I don't think they did. I think
There's
they
70
stayed.
Americans here, and they're just talking loud.
I think they stayed, but we all just found our little place, and it all worked out. That was really beautiful. Just nice to be with all the devotees and cooling down. And then, of course, Karuna led kirtan on the bus ride back, and everyone really loved that.
8-year-old Karuna led a kirtan that had everybody talking, and just like it was very beautiful.
Is mom paying attention?
Incredible. Again and again, we were impressed with you.
Yeah, no, she was standing up in the aisle of the bus while we were driving, and the harmonium was kind of placed between like the arms of the two seats on either side of the aisle, and she was just singing the whole way back, and it was a really, really good kirtan. So everyone was just feeling it.
I wasn't on her bus, so I missed it, Karuna. We're waiting for you today.
All right.
Or in Cinque Terre, we should sing in Cinque Terre. Yeah. So anyway,
it was a beautiful day. I mean, I'm not even going into all the details. It was a beautiful day all around for so many reasons.
All right. Well, that's the latest. Hey, I also wanted to mention me and Kostuba doing Ashram Month. I hate to leave Italy for a second, but Ashram Month in August. It's become Ashram Fortnight. We're doing 2 weeks. The first week is going to be our good friend Bhakti Lata. She's incredible. And what's the date of that, Mara?
August 12th through 26th.
August 12th is the first week. And then both groups come together, and we're having a Janmastami, which is Krishna's appearance day at the farm. Looking forward to that. That's August 19th. And then me and Kostuba start our week, which I'm really looking forward to hanging with you again, Kostuba. I just follow you around.
All right. Well, I'm going to your place for that.
You follow me around. But I'm looking forward to that. If you haven't signed up or if you want more info, space is extremely limited. Go to wisdomofthesages.com and go to Ashram Month.
Okay.
And sign up or get in there. And we try to keep the prices reasonable. We really into the whole thing about Bhakti that we really love is education, because education is what steers our choices, and what our choices become us. Isn't that true? Don't like something about yourself? Guess what? You steered yourself this way. You're fully responsible for it. So we have some. So education in the Bhakti culture is incredibly important. So we're trying to make this a day of like a week of just like feel what it's like living in an ashram, and and there's some of the best times of our life were spent in an ashram. Just waking up early, going to bed early, doing the things you do in an ashram. But instead of, we make it almost like you're going to school all day. But it's fun. It'd be great people, all people like yourself who, hey, I want to upgrade my life. I want to add more of this to my life so I can go back into my own community and give a little love. So we're looking forward to that. And if you haven't signed up, please do.
Okay.
Anything else?
I have an announcement that this Sunday is the monthly Urban Devi Sangha. That's live, and it's for ladies. It's a ladies get together online. That's the whole thing is the project of Rukmini Devi, who we've had on the show. It's a very special person, very special devotee. This week it begins at 11 a.m. Eastern Time this Sunday, July 24th, and the speaker is Janava Devi this week. You know Janava Devi, go way back.
Yeah.
Okay, and the topic is 7 principles for making relationships thrive, drawing from bhakti wisdom and secular knowledge and research. You will learn the simple and practical application of 7 key principles to help you grow, improve, and establish healthy, loving relationships.
There are such things, huh?
Yes.
Healthy, loving relationships.
Yes, you just got to know the principles, that's all.
So
that's you go to the Bhakti Center's website, bhakticenter.org, and find Urban Devi there, and you can tune in live for free. But that's for the ladies.
And because I'm staring right in the face of Jiva G Life Coaching, we have a Bhakti Recovery retreat happening at Super Soul Farm, and that is October 4th through the 7th. So if you're into, by the way, Bhakti Recovery, you don't have to be like, sometimes people think, well, recovery, I'm way above that. I'm not that. Those guys are in the gutter. No, you're in the gutter, people. You'd be surprised how useful these tools are in your life. And what I'm looking around the room, everyone's nodding. Everyone's nodding. There's no, I'm not addicted. I'm not addicted. You are. We got some deep-rooted codependence, addictive nature going on. And all you need to do is pull the curtain back a little and see what dented cans we are. So Jiva G is very expert, immersed herself into it. And also she just decided that her higher power has form. And that form is that of sweet baby Krishna. So if you'd like to join her, she's a really empowered speaker. That's October 4th through the 7th at Super Soul Farm. And you can sign up for that on wisdomofthesages.com and click on events. Click on Sage Academy. All right, what do you say we dive into the...
Nugget?
Oh, there's no show.
Oh, no show tomorrow.
Oh, you know why? Because we're going to Cinque Terre. There's no show tomorrow. But we're going to try to rope in Satchidananda Swami for this weekend.
Okay.
Yep, he doesn't know that yet. Kostuba didn't even know that. I just came up with that idea now. But he's going to be with us this weekend, which I'm looking forward to.
So you think this
I'm gonna
Sunday
think about
interview? Or?
Sunday, if we can sneak him in as a special
Maybe
guest.
we can ask him questions on Sunday.
Yeah, we ask him questions. I like that. We just thought about it live.
Yeah.
That was not planned. This wasn't.
Well, that's
acted out.
generally what you do in interviews, but you know.
Well, no, like Sunday's interview. Oh yeah, you're right. That is what you do on interview day. Whatever. We'll do whatever. Okay. So we have a nugget here, and our nugget is quite lovely. Ever have a nugget? You're like, yeah, nugget. That's how I feel about this nugget today. You want to hear it?
You like it that much?
Yeah, I like it that much.
Okay.
This is from Marcus Tullius Cicero.
Cicero.
He was what?
I'm finding out right now. He was a Roman statesman, lawyer, scholar, philosopher, and academic skeptic.
An academic skeptic. That's your profession? I'm a skeptic. Professionally.
Academic skeptic. Thank you.
Are you a skeptic? Yeah, but professionally I'm a skeptic. Oh, okay. I'm a professional cynical jerk. What if you could be a,
he tried
optimist?
Well, he tried to uphold the optimist principles during the political crises that led to the establishment of the Roman Empire. And his extensive writings include treatises on rhetoric, philosophy, and politics. And he is considered to be one of Rome's greatest orators and prose stylists.
Hairstylists? He's a skeptic
Prose.
and a hairstylist?
Prose stylist.
Prose?
Yeah. Like he was a writer.
Like a writer. Okay.
Yeah.
Good for him. Okay, here's his nugget from the hairstylist skeptic himself. If you have a garden and a library, you have everything you need.
Oh.
Let me hear a Harry Bowl if you like that one. Okay, the live lives like that one too.
Read that one again, please.
If you have a garden and a library, you have everything that you need.
I guess if you have the garden, you have the food that you need.
Well, you also have this connection with God through nature.
Okay.
Because you're nurturing, you're watching the magic of tomatoes grow from nothing. Right? That's magic. Then they're getting too big and you got to help them. And you got to tie them. And then they're giving seeds and you eat them and the seeds are going back into the earth and they're growing more tomatoes next year. It's all magic stuff happening right in front of your face. And you think, I'm not doing this. I'm the shepherd. I'm just helping out. I'm directing, but I'm barely doing anything. And you realize there's some magic going on in this universe. It's way beyond me and my minuscule control.
And what's the library for?
What's the library for? Education. Education.
All right.
Knowledge to put towards your life. Right?
Yeah.
To apply towards your life.
I think, if you had just the library, not the garden, then you might just be full of theoretical knowledge.
Yeah.
But then the garden, you kind of if you get good philosophy from the library, then you go out in the garden and you start to kind of live it, practice it, observe it, and hopefully grow through it, right?
Yep. There's something about just walking barefoot in nature that gives you some deep realizations and makes you think. Just going, just like yesterday. I went to that waterfall, those springs, those rocks, walking through the forest. And you know what I thought to myself, Kostuba?
What?
This is my cathedral.
Your cathedral?
Yes. This is my cathedral. This is my art.
Dedicated to you?
I need no Michelangelo. I don't need that. This is my art right here. This is my study of Italian art.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Aren't you special then? No. No, but I agree with you.
You know what I mean? It's beautiful. This is what I want to see in Italy. I want to see a waterfall.
Okay.
I feel good. I felt great yesterday.
No, it was beautiful. So I like that. In any case, I think this, you might want a house too, but at least the library and the garden is a good start.
Yeah, I guess. Well, if you have a library, it's probably
have a
indoors,
house,
so you could
yeah.
probably live in there.
Okay.
It's probably assumed. It's assumed there's probably a kitchen connected to the library.
How's your garden doing this summer?
It ain't doing.
What happened? You've just
We
been too busy.
decided to concentrate on inner zones around the house first.
Inner zones.
Yeah, before we start extending out, keep it in, focus on the main thing. The main thing is education. And
Okay.
putting on different programs.
Understood. Okay.
Understand?
So working on the library now, and then you get the
Library,
garden.
landscaping around the house, and then slowly working and building. Otherwise, we're just shooting. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try herd goats. We're going to do it. It's just too much. We're pulling it all back. That's why we got Radhe, Rachel working.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Next year.
Next
I'll be
year.
looking for that garden next year, though.
Yeah. But I will say that I want to thank, because they're live on Zoom, I want to thank David Charles Wilson and Ariana Lindbergh, because they're heading up all the landscaping. Thank you.
Okay. Landscaping is kind of gardening, too.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. And Banjo Mike and Michelle Berger, too. Okay. What do you say we dive deep into the nectar pot
I'm
of
ready.
the Srimad Bhagavatam?
I'm ready.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesha bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Midatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Right. By the way, we never mentioned that it was a Krishna miracle that we discovered. I mean, Sienna's not a huge place, but last year when we went there, we stumbled right into that Krishna hat maker who's got a tiny little shop. When I say a hat shop, it's not Walmart, man. It's like a tiny little closet of a store. It was down the one tiny path we walked to get to the piazza.
It is relatively centrally located, Raghunath.
I know, but there's a million things centrally located. We walked one straight line, doubting Thomas.
I'm not doubting.
That was a Krishna miracle. Don't take away my magic.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22. People are going to go Siena looking for this guy.
I hope they do.
Yeah, Jagadananda, his name is. Jagadananda.
Yeah, did they see actually the Jagannath symbol in the window or something? Or did they? That's how it originally
I think that was it. They saw
but
a
it's
little
not even that
Jagannath face. It's
prominent
very
right there.
small.
Yeah. Sweet guy.
Yeah. He saw us yesterday. He looked at it. He was like standing outside his store. He was so happy.
They're back.
He's like, they're back.
Yeah,
And he's detached. He was very detached.
No, I put an expensive hat on your head. And he's like, no, not that one.
Well, he's
The
a
one you got is
connoisseur
good."
of fine hats. He's like, no. This makes your head look fat like a giant turnip. No, he was like, he will tell you what hat to wear. And then I was like, listen, we only have a short amount of time here. We're going to go get something to eat and come back. And he's like, the shop is closed. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm bringing like 70 people in your store. You're going to close your shop? Yes, I am. He understood. It's like, he's not trying to pitch hats. He's detached. He does his service and he's peaceful.
Okay.
And he won't sell you something just, it looks great on you. Yeah, like a used car salesman. He's like, this one is for you. And
Kelly
then it'll
Skinner
just
got a good hat.
Kelly Skinner put on that hat and he was like, no. Yes. And when she wore that hat, it was almost like Kelly's complete now. She's been waiting for materially speaking, she was always spiritually complete, but then Kelly's complete. She was like a cake without frosting, waiting for that hat to come along. Now you are complete, Kelly. Alrighty. Are we ready to dive? Here we go.
I am.
Text 41.
that where we're at? 41?
Yeah. The great sage Maitreya continues.
So now
here's the narrator.
We switch back to sage level
whatever.
3.
Being thus enlightened in complete spiritual knowledge by the son Brahma, right? That's Sanat Kumar.
Mm-hmm.
One of the Kumaras who is complete in spiritual knowledge, by the sons of Brahma, one of the Kumaras who is complete in spiritual knowledge, the king worshipped them with in the following words.
Okay, so he's appreciated the instructions that he's gotten,
Yeah.
and he just kind of, he opened up with his appreciation for the Kumaras. He presented questions to them. He heard from them, and now he's praising them again, showing his appreciation again.
So the king said, "O Brahmana, O powerful one, formerly Lord Vishnu showed me his causeless mercy, indicating that you would come to my house. And to confirm that blessing, you have all come. My dear Brahmana, you have carried out the order thoroughly because you are also as compassionate as the Lord. It is my duty, therefore, to offer you something. But all I possess are but remnants of food taken by great saintly persons. What shall I give?" The king continued. "Therefore, my dear Brahmanas, my life, my wife, my children, my home, my furniture, and household paraphernalia, my kingdom, my strength, my land, and especially my treasury are all offered to you."
So he said earlier, he said, "What can I give you?" It's like giving remnants of food that's already, in other words, I think he was saying that really he's the king in one sense. He's like ruling everything. Like he can tax everyone. The entire kingdom is kind of like his property in a sense.
Right.
And but he's saying, but actually it looks like I'm the king of all this, but really it all really belongs to the Brahmins, to the wise people. They're the ones that give the directions. They're the ones that are more deeply connected to God. So really, what can I give you that is not already yours? And so then in this verse, he's just kind of say, so whatever I have, I give. That's it. Like everything I've got, my wife, my life, my children, my home, my furniture. None of this is mine.
Imagine if you stop there. Take my wife.
Okay.
Just take her. Just take her away, please.
No, the household paraphernalia.
He said everything. My life. My life. You know what we did today in yoga class? We got down on our knee. You remember this, guys? We put our hands in the air and said, "My dear Lord Krishna, what would you like from me today? From this moment on, I am yours." That's what we all said today. We offered our life.
Very good. But it's one thing to say that.
Some people repeated what I said, not realizing what they were about to say. They're like, "Wait a second, what did I just say?"
But they thought it was going to be like, "Let there be peace in the world" or something like that.
No, I'm giving everything to you, my Lord.
But here it's saying that this is the mentality, right? It sounds like it's a mentality of like I'm about to lose everything, but really it's like a mentality of like I'm finally recognizing who I am and what I am and how this whole world works. Everything I've got is yours, right? None of it's mine. I'm happy when it's reconnected. It's only through that I feel content and happy.
The analogy of the teenager is themselves, is like that as well. If you have teenagers, they're feeling very independent. They're driving the car. They're not really understanding that you're paying for the insurance in the car. You fill up the car with gas. You're the one who has purchased the car, perhaps. Even if they purchase a car, maybe you're paying for the insurance, right? You're maintaining them, right? They're thinking, I'm free, I'm driving here. Who knows that stupid? My stupid parents, they don't know so much. Oh, we do. We do. Don't you understand? We're making the whole thing happen. We've been steering you like this your whole life. So if my kids are listening, I'm not talking about you. We're very grateful. But the idea is that we think we're free in so many ways. But in fact, when we become more and more realized, we realize how everything that we have has been a gift. We've been looked over. We've been nurtured. We've had an eye on us, right? Like a mother in a park. When I lived in New York City, I had the kids in the park. So, you're talking to some other mother or father, but you got your eye on that kid. No matter where that kid is playing, you got an eye on that kid. Krishna's got an eye on you. And he's sanctioning all that's happening. And especially if you start becoming devoted to Krishna, he takes special care. Otherwise, we're just getting bounced around by our karma. But then Krishna will start using your karma for your purification. Truthfully, it's what's always happening. We just don't realize it. We just think, oh, I'm just going through this life. Oh, why did this happen? Or, hey, look at this. I'm pretty clever. Look what I got. No. This is just we're just bouncing around like the pinball machine of the material world, of our karma, living out our jyotish, or, our astrology. And it's just manifesting in front of us, and we think we're doing it. Actually, Krishna's got a hand in all of this, and it can all be used for our own liberation. Okay, text 45. Since only a person who is completely educated, according to the principles of Vedic knowledge, deserves to be commander-in-chief, ruler of the state, the first to chastise, or the proprietor of the whole planet, Prithu Maharaj offered everything to the Kumaras, right? I've got it all. It's all yours. What would you like from me? That's a great prayer, isn't it? What would you like from me? It's like the story of Krishna. Little Krishna goes and he offers he doesn't have any money and he wanted some fruit. So he went to the fruit salesman lady and she had a blanket of fruit. And he just hands all he had was some grains, and even the grains he had were falling through his fingers. He didn't have anything. But she had so much love for Krishna. She gave everything to Krishna. And then the next day she came back and she opened up her fruit blanket, and inside was just a bunch of jewels. So Krishna is always asking us. And what is he asking for? Actually, he wants it all. Krishna wants it all. He wants not 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, on the side. He wants to be reconnected with us, just like a parent wants to be reconnected with a lost child. And when we do, in that giving up process of these things I'm attached to, that actually, you were saying in class today, it's like we're screaming, oh, the material world's got me. No, you got the material world. You can't hold on to the thorn tree or the cactus and say, oh, this cactus is killing me. You're embracing it. You're embracing the very things that are giving pain. Krishna says, just release that and just come to me. And then what's left? There's a basket of jewels for us. And we see people who have actually really given their life. And in good times and in sad times, they have some deep, deep joy, inner joy. And that's what we're hearing about. So we develop an attachment to it instead of attachment to the temporary world. 46. The Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, the Sudras eat their food by virtue of the Brahmanas' mercy. It is the Brahmanas who enjoy their own property, clothe themselves with their own property, and give charity with their own property. What's he talking about here, Kasuma?
Again, I think he's just saying that because they're given direction, really everything auspicious that's coming is coming through the wisdom and the knowledge that they're providing. So it's not like he really has anything to give them.
Prithu Maharaj continued, how can such persons who have rendered unlimited service by explaining the path of self-realization in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and whose explanations are given for our enlightenment with complete conviction and Vedic science evidence, be repaid except by folded palms containing water for their satisfaction? Folded palms containing water? What does that mean?
I believe he's kind of referring to the way that
offer water to the Ganga or something.
Yeah, in other words, it's kind of like a standard thing that when you enter into the holy river, you take a little handful of the water itself and you ritually kind of offer it back. Right. So in one sense, you're offering just back the same water that it already has. So he's saying, I really don't have anything to give you. I'm just kind of like showing my appreciation is really all I can do.
That makes sense.
Because you've given the greatest gift. Once, in others, you've given me knowledge, like spiritual knowledge. There's nothing that can compare to that. There's no amount of gold that can equal that. What can I give you that's gonna pay for that? There's really nothing. So I think he says here, what does he say? In one sense, you just ask that you be happy, satisfied by your own activities. It's that Krishna said that to the gopis too. He said their love for him was so great. There's nothing that equals it.
here it's a similar idea. There's nothing that can, what you've given us, we don't have anything that's of equal value to pay you back. So what we're asking is that you be satisfied with your own activities, just be content, because we don't have anything to match it.
Sometimes on the appearance day, which is like the birthday of the guru, you got to give a gift. You give a gift to the guru. It's like, what do you get a person who needs nothing? You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I had, my guru is a hard person to give a gift to.
Yeah.
He was, not only the principle that you're saying was in play,
But he was very
particular.
refined and particular in his taste. Too.
Do you know the one gift that I gave him that kind of blew his mind?
No. Oh wait, no. Tell me.
Sure. I heard a lecture that he had given many years before.
Kastuba's the good student. Many years before he takes note,
Very
Guru
good
wants
student.
this.
Well, he gave a class and he was talking about how when they were building the Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, he said that on the property that they were going to build the temple was a tamal tree, right? And his name was Tamal Krishna Goswami. And the tamal tree is considered to be a very sacred tree in Vrindavan. Why is it sacred, Mara? One reason? Do you know? No, she thought she was totally off the hook.
She's like, they stopped calling me.
They're not asking me anything. Do you know why? It said because the color of the tree is is something like Krishna's color, and so when the gopis are feeling their divine separation from Krishna, they embrace that tree, and so it said you can pray to that tree to understand that Vipralamba Bhava, that very special, unique blend of spiritual emotion, separation.
So if you haven't been to the Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, it's got this tree growing in the courtyard, just growing right in, giving shade. It's very lovely.
But that's the thing. You see, when he knew that the temple was going to be built on that property, he assumed that the tamal tree would be cut down because they're going to build right on top of it. But no, they built the courtyard around the tree.
Smart.
They never cut it down. So what he said in that class was, when I saw that they were going to build on that property, I thought to myself, oh, I'm going to get a set of japa beads made out of that
Tamal tree.
That tamal tree wood. Okay, that was his. But it never happened.
They kept it living
because
students
they built around
go
it.
on with the story. This is getting good. So you found a dead log.
No, what happened was eventually. So I heard that lecture. I don't know when, but even then, that class had been given many, many years before. But then the tree actually died.
Oh.
And Ainjar Prabhu had the wood up in his room.
And you got that wood?
And so I went to Ainjar Prabhu and I said, Ainjar Prabhu, I once heard a class, my Guru Maharaj said that he wanted to have beads made out of that wood, but of course it never happened. But now, tree has passed away. When you have that wood, I'm begging of you, could you please give me some wood?
Kastuba, the perfect student.
Yeah, come on, man. It just
perfect.
happened.
That was perfect.
So I took that wood, I had beads made out of it, and then the thing was, I was advised by Ainjar to soak that wood in ghee.
Soak the wood in ghee. Right? Whenever you have oil, you have to put some type of
wood preserves.
Oil
preserves wood. And I probably should have used some other kind of oil, but he told me ghee.
He told you ghee, okay.
And so when I went and I gave them to him on his birthday, on his appearance day, and that gift knocked him out.
Oh, wow.
He was really like that.
He was a tough person to impress.
Very, very tough. As a matter of fact, we tried so many times and completely failed. This time, and this was his last one.
Before he died.
And but because they had all the ghee on it, he was like, well, all this ghee is on here. He gave them back to me, and to this day, I don't even know if it was.
Still have them?
Yeah.
What?
He kind of, the idea was either I would keep them, or I would chant on them long enough till the ghee was no longer like sticky and so on, and give them back. But he gave them to me. He even gave some instructions like how to meditate. He said, keep these
secret instructions.
Yeah, well,
can you share the secret instructions with us?
I won't share, but it had something to do with what I was saying. You can pray to this tree in a particular way. And so then he said, keep them like separate. Don't like take them around and all over the place. Keep them like in some sacred place and take them out on occasion. But when you chant on them, you should try to pray for that mood. And so he gave these, and you know, the thing was, I was so careless that I had lost my initiation beads many years before.
Oh, I've done that too.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So you're not that careless.
Par for the course.
I probably lost them the first.
Okay.
You know how many beads bags I have around my house?
I don't.
I have like
Is it
one in my
glasses?
truck, one in my kitchen. It's about, yeah, I've got 11 pairs of glasses. I'm like Elton John walking around.
So any case, I got those beads back, and then he passed away shortly after that. So I got a pair of beads. I did get a pair of beads that he chanted on. So, any case, squirrel.
Okay.
But
That was a squirrel, but it was a good squirrel.
okay.
Sometimes, write this down. Sometimes squirrels are good.
Oh, I believe that.
Sometimes squirrels are good.
So how do we get there anyway? What got us started on that?
We're talking about cutting down trees. Folded palms, offering water. Good memory, Mara.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I think that's what he's getting into. But why don't we read this commentary?
What?
Oh, let's finish the verse.
Such great
Oh
personalities.
yeah, it's
can
hard
be
to give
satisfied.
It's hard to give back to someone who's given you spiritual knowledge.
Such great personalities can be satisfied by their own activities, which are distributed amongst human society out of their unlimited mercy.
Purport.
You want the purport on that one?
Yeah.
That's okay. This is the text 47 purport. Great personalities of the material world are very eager to render welfare service to human society, but actually no one can render better service than one who distributes knowledge of spiritual realization in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I fully believe that.
I believe that too, but I think a lot of people don't.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
Like, well, what about food? Or what about, like there's so many different ways that you can try to give back to
You want the
society.
leaves of the tree to be green, you got to water the roots. You don't water the leaf. It's that simple. That's a simple analogy.
I think it goes back to what the Pope said yesterday. First here, and everything follows.
You can't
after
expect the
that.
world to change their consciousness if you personally don't change your consciousness. Right.
And it is the change of consciousness that helps the world.
I agree. I agree.
All of the problems are caused because the consciousness isn't set right.
Sure.
So if spiritual knowledge is there, you can help you can get to the root of the problem.
Right. For example, let's just take animal rights. I mean, animal rights is what we've done. How animals have been treated like a factory farm is abhorrent. It is. You can't. It's the most cruel thing. So you naturally want to dig your heels and say, this is wrong. This is horrific. This has to change. And so one way to do that is to develop a real hateful mentality for all those people who are cutting the throats of animals and to, hanging up the legs, animals by their legs, or packing the chickens in a cage. And if you really follow that through, you can become very hateful for all those people. But if you become hateful, you've defeated the purpose. If what you're doing for self-betterment is making you hate more, you're doing something wrong. Because ultimately, we should learn to love. And that is sort of like the path of spiritual life. That doesn't mean we learn to love and we sit here in a love bubble and just bliss out. It means by our own changing, we start to inspire others to change. And truthfully, I've seen that change in the world. I've seen things like animal rights or the environment. I think things have changed for the better since we were kids, even in our own short life. There is some sort of age of Aquarius going on.
I don't know if there's actually, there's in terms of numbers of animals being killed and all that.
I mean, come on.
But
veganism is like in the conversation.
That's what I'm saying. That's
no one. If you were a vegan in 1982, no one even knew what that was.
Yeah.
You can't just say, "Oh, I'm a vegan." Yeah, do you guys serve vegans here at the restaurant? They'll be like, "What are you even talking about?" Like health. You couldn't get a veggie burger.
So I would say there's a start to the change of consciousness for sure. No question about that. As far as the number of animals and all that, I don't know. I don't know the statistics.
I didn't count the animals either,
Yeah.
but
okay.
I'm just saying it's
no.
it's a
I
thing
understand
when you have
exactly what
like
you're saying, yeah.
Burger King in London that's all vegetarian or all vegan. That's come on.
Is it all vegan Burger King in London?
I think so. Did I just make that up? Somebody from There is. Thank you. Fray Rooney says.
There is.
No, but they have a total.
They have one that's
they have one
fully-
that's total it.
In Leicester
It's in
Square.
Leicester Square.
Okay.
It's been confirmed by a
But
Brit.
you know what especially this reminds me of is that story which is in the Journey Within, where Radha Swami was in the airport
Yes.
in Delhi, and a woman came up, and she was like this high-level minister in the Indian government, and who was particularly responsible for ecological concerns. And she said to him, you know, what's with you swamis? Like, what are you doing? We got like this crisis on our hands, and you're walking around giving your classes,
meditating,
and God, whatever, chanting your mantras or whatever. But meanwhile, the world's like falling apart. And he explained to her that even if we're able to clean all the rivers today, unless people's mentality changes, in other words, unless people get spiritual knowledge, unless they let go of their greed, unless they develop actual appreciation for all forms of life by recognizing the spiritual equality, then we might clean them all up today. They're going to all be polluted tomorrow. It's just a matter of time, right? So he's saying you have a role. I have. Now he could have said, "Hey, I got an eco village. What have you done?" You know, or something like that.
Right.
But he's stuck on this point that
there's an internal environment that has to be cleansed.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And so therefore, it is the highest welfare work. It's the work that goes not to simply the symptom of the problem, but goes to the very root of the problem. And not only that, it goes to the root of all the problems.
I fully believe that.
Yeah.
I fully believe that. It's direction.
Yeah.
It's direction. If you really want to work on yourself, we work on direction. You know, you could spend hours and hours building the race car, but if the race car doesn't know where to drive to, what good is the race car?
Yeah, it's got no steering wheel, no. You know.
Yeah, or even these people that work on longevity. I want to live a long time in this world, and do what? What do you want to do? You're, okay, you made it to 110. What'd you do? I don't know.
Live long.
Live long. Isn't that good? No, it's not good. If you could live long, create chaos, you know, and drive people crazy.
So shall we continue?
You want to keep going with that purport?
Yes.
Yes, we can. All living entities are within the clutches. I like that. Clutches of the illusory energy, forgetting their real identity.
They hover.
They hover in material existence, transmigrating from one body to another in search of a peaceful life. You were very eloquent the way you said that in the morning class today.
What did I say?
You're like, you know, I can't remember exactly. You're like, yeah, I've got this lifetime. And then you start thinking, well, I might have 2 lifetimes. And the Bhagavatam speaks, imagine who were you in 40 lifetimes? You know what this lifetime is? We all have had some idea of what we are. I'm looking at Jiva again. She's, you know, covered in tattoos. So she had some punk rock past, right? And she had times as a mom, as a mother of a little baby. And then she had a teenage life. And then, you know, we have had different identities within this life, right?
Yeah.
And we fully embraced, that's what I am. Maybe in a relationship, in a marriage, or maybe in a whatever. Maybe we're in a second marriage or third, whatever it is. Maybe in a part of, right? Neil was from Huntington Beach. Now he lives in Goa. We have an identity with where we live. Then all of a sudden, and we're convinced we're that, and then all of a sudden we actually have another life from a previous. Hard to understand that we've had a previous life. If you keep on, and where you're completely convinced you're all that, now you zoom out even more. Bhagavatam is teaching us to zoom out even more. You've had multiple identities where you are actually convinced by the clutches of the illusory energy. Now I'm convinced I'm this. In the same way you were convinced you were a mom, right? And then all of a sudden the kid's grown up. The kids got their own kids. And the whole thing almost seems like a dream. I was in this place where I'm sitting right now a year ago. The whole thing seems like a dream. Because that's what the material world is. It's a fading dream. We've been in marriages, in places around the world, in different occupations, in a workplace. And sometimes we recognize it. Sometimes we're moving out of an apartment or something. We're like, wow, I'm moving out today. I'll never walk in this door again. This is weird. Or we graduate high school and we're like, wow, I'm never coming back here. This part of my life, this chapter is over. And that is it's one chapter after another. And sometimes we feel it. And sometimes it'll line up right with our astrology. So I'm entering Jupiter, or I'm entering Saturn, and you're actually in a whole different place in your life. And so we've not just done this for our life, but lifetimes of dreams. And you went into it even more. You were like, Bhagavatam says millions of lifetimes of dreams.
It's encouraging us to think that way, right?
Think bigger.
Even if we thought, I lived 10 lifetimes, it's like, whoa, that's heavy. so many times I went through different ups and downs and gains and loss. 10, boy, that's like a lot.
You know what I was thinking about?
What?
You know what I was thinking about yesterday? I saw you frolicking in the water yesterday.
Okay.
Kostuba was in his joy. He was like, yeah, playing, happy.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the water. I was thinking deep.
I'm going to drown him.
Okay, drown him. What's one life? No. Hare Krishna.
What are you thinking?
No, you know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
I was like, this is so nice.
Mm.
You know, and not only that, Tarak Prabhu brought a bunch of grapes. We were sitting in that water. It was so hot out, but the water was so cooling. And then they brought sweet grapes. We're like, oh, these grapes. We're eating grapes. We're in the water. Some people were just singing. Everybody was happy. And I was thinking, this is so materially wonderful. Like, what else? There's a waterfall behind us. You know, there's different rocks to sit on. You could sit in the water and it would flow.
Like, you
different
could hang out in
pools.
different areas.
And, you know, yes, the rocks were sort of soft. They weren't slippery. Slippery could be dangerous.
But
They
smooth.
were smooth but firm. You could climb on them, right? The water wasn't like muddy or murky. There was no like water snake fear that sometimes comes into swimming in natural water. It looked very clean. I thought, you know what? This is so nice. It's going to be over in a week. Like, it'll be a memory and a moment. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought, as nice as this is, big deal. That's what I thought.
Okay.
You were eating grapes. I was thinking, big deal. No, I was just thinking, like, this is going to be over. And then I thought of our good friend Gopal, who just left his body.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, he was in extreme pain, so much that he had to take some whatever morphine-esque thing to deal with the pain. And the pain is gone. Big deal. It is our
Pleasure
pain
comes,
and our
the pain
pleasure are so dreamlike. Even the worst pain we have, when our body is like, when we're dying, that type of pain from dying, and our greatest pleasures, our greatest joys, everything here is so fleeting.
Right.
And the yoga system is about, how can I be between the pleasure and the pain? How can I live there focused? In the greatest times and the worst of times, how can I focus on Lord Vishnu and move forward?
You know, I think it all goes back to Cicero and what we're reading. You know, it's like you get the knowledge, but through the library. Then you observe the garden. And what do you observe in the garden? The cycles, right? It comes, you know, it's born in the spring, it grows, it flourishes, it gives its fruit, then it starts to wilt, then it dies.
It's dormant.
Then you come back, you see it again and again and again. It's meant to give us a hint, right? That we're doing that. We're doing that through different bodies again and again and again. So what, 10 lifetimes seems like a long time, but Bhagavatam say, no, not 10.
10 lives is nothing.
Think like 100. No, more. 1,000. You know, the way the Bhagavatam speaks is saying since before we can remember, we've been going through these cycles on and on and on and on.
Kostuba and myself are 56 years old this year. Do you remember, everybody in this room, do you remember when 56 was like, oh, that guy's 56? Oh, that old coot, that old goose. You know what I mean?
Goose.
That old goose is 56. Oh, my God. 56 used to be old. Now it's young. Isn't that interesting?
We were saying that like, I was talking to Parmananda yesterday, and we were saying, when we first got into this, our gurus, like we were in our early 20s.
Gurus 39.
They were about like 40.
Yeah. 40.
And we thought they were these like older, respectable
Elders.
men, these elders in society, these like, you know, we couldn't even think of being that old and that experienced and so on.
Yeah.
And now we're much older than them. Than they were. Not than now. We're much older than they were when we met them. It's hard to conceive.
It's hard to conceive, isn't it? Like, yeah, how much time do I have left in this world?
So therefore that knowledge is there to get us to get us to zoom out. Otherwise we're stuck. Right. So this is what Prithu's saying. It's like we'd be stuck if it wasn't for all you Kumaras. Right. If you weren't showing us, helping us expand our mind, helping us broaden our thought, helping us see this world from another perspective, where we develop the conviction to change it, to break the cycle. Right? Otherwise, you're just stuck in the cycle. You need to have some different perspective in order to break it, and that's coming through the words of these great souls. Greatest welfare work.
I'm getting some good realizations today. This is good. It's 56. Can we go on?
What do you mean?
No, the time is 56.
Oh, I thought you meant we were 56.
We are 56.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's at least finish.
Should we go on with life or just take our lives right now? We're 56. How much more time do we have anyway?
So why don't we finish at least this paragraph, if not this commentary?
Finish the paragraph.
Since these living entities.
Since these living entities have very little knowledge of self-realization, they are not getting any relief, although they are very anxious to attain peace of mind.
And some substantial happiness. Saintly persons like the Kumaras, Narada, Prahlad, Janak, right, Sukadeva Goswami, and Kapila Dev, as well as the followers of such authorities as the Vaishnavacharyas and their servants, can render a valuable service to humanity by disseminating knowledge over the relationship between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entity. That's what we're trying to do. That's sort of like the goal of the whole wisdom of sages. Disseminate knowledge of these great souls to all living entities. They're the sages, and we're just sharing it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Such knowledge is the perfect benediction for humanity. Because we're getting benefit for doing it. Like, we are hearing it on a regular basis. It's because people are listening that I'm showing up every morning, even on the mornings when I really don't want to show up. You know, there's mornings, because I hate to break it to you. There's mornings where I do not want to do wisdom sages because I stayed up late or for some other reason, or I got my mind busy with something, or some complication is going on in my life. And I was like, I don't want to do it. I got to do it. Because everyone's going to be there. And they're going to be like, where's Raghunath? And Kostuba's going to get mad at me. And I do it. I'm scared of you.
No, you're not. No, you're not. All right. It's the
But
perfect.
but because we get to hear
That
for our
both the
benefit.
hearer and the listener are benefited.
Yeah.
And it says the perfect benediction, right? Again, it's like there's so many kind of benedictions, and there's nothing wrong with all the different kind of benedictions, but spiritual knowledge is the perfect benediction because, again, it goes to the root of all the problems, not just one problem. It doesn't go to it doesn't go just to the surface and not to just one problem. It goes to the root of all problems.
Right.
Therefore, it's perfect.
It's interestingly confusing because within what we know as Hinduism, there's a lot of sort of like mystical ways to get material benedictions. So sometimes people will confuse the Bhakti Vedantins with just ordinary people within the Vedic paradigm who are giving out, swamis are giving out benedictions, material benedictions. Like,
blessings.
You get a benediction to be famous, a benediction to have children, a benediction to have a long life. Those can all be miserable. You can have a miserable child. You can have a miserable long life, right? Good karma isn't necessarily good. Some of you have good karma and you're experiencing some pain. Sometimes good karma can get us into a lot of trouble. Come on.
Good karma is bad karma is good.
Not necessarily. Sometimes bad karma is bad.
It can be good.
Can be good.
It's good. It is good. It's just a question of whether we understand how to.
Because in bhakti, it's all good. You know how people say, it's all good. It actually is all good. But you got to direct it towards Vishnu. Then it becomes all good. Or else it ain't all good.
It's all bad.
It's all bad.
What are we at there?
Okay, we're going to call this show It's All Bad. What do you think about it? It's all good or all bad. Mara.
Takeaways, Mara?
Some goodies.
I got a lot today.
You got a lot of goodies?
Yeah. I do. Education steers our choices. Our choices. Education steers our choices. Our choices become us.
Ooh, Becky.
We think we are free, but we've been divinely cared for.
Ooh, Becky.
I can do that every time because she's got a lot of them.
Sometimes squirrels are good.
I think a lot of times they're good, but a lot of times they go too far.
Sometimes squirrels are bad.
Water the root.
Water the root. That's a t-shirt and a mug.
Krishna wants it all. Surrender everything.
Sounds scary, but it's good.
Changing our consciousness helps the whole world.
We are the world.
Bhagavatam teaches us to zoom out even more.
Yes, it does.
The material world is a fading dream.
Material world is fading dream. I added that one there. Well, that was your statement, but I shared it.
You embellished it.
No, I didn't embellish it. I just gave it as you gave it.
Material world
That was straight from Raghu.
is a fading
It's a
dream.
famous fading dream. Thank you, Raghunath.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Our greatest joys and swimming holes are over in a moment.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, everybody got
already
sad.
It's already over. You know, it's just a memory.
Okay. Happy one.
A good memory.
Spiritual knowledge is the perfect benediction.
It sure is.
In bhakti, it's all good.
True.
Very true.
And
Kelly is complete.
oh, hey,
Ah,
you didn't.
Kelly got the last nugget.
You missed my hashtag, I think.
Oh, we missed a. There were. Wait, there's
And
one more.
let go of the cactus.
Let go of the
Let
cactus.
go of the cactus, people! Stop embracing the cactus and the cacti.
The cacti.
Sorry, word nerds out there.
Let go of the cacti.
Let go of the cacti. You explaining that one to Neil? Cactus. She didn't get it. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, you little prickly pears. I saw a bunch of... No show tomorrow. You get a day off from Spiritual Life tomorrow. Just kidding. You got to do your own reading. You got to be fired up to do your own reading. We're going to be singing on the bus to Cinque Terre. And,
Yes.
yeah, and what else? And then we're back Friday.
We'll be
Friday?
showed regular time Friday.
What's the date today?
No, we'll be back
Today's
Saturday.
Thursday?
Oh, that'll be Q&A at 8. Will it?
Yeah, we're on at 8 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. And then